Everyone, it's Victor speaking, and today we're going to be speaking about the 10th house. So, by the way, I would like to make an announcement. I am starting a Harare practitioner course on the 20th of March. It's going to be 16 weeks, and we are going to be covering every single house and possible questions they can ask. Harare is extremely powerful when it comes to specific questions, such as does he love me? Where are my keys? Will I get the job? Will I get the COVID? When do I get the vaccination? And so forth. So if you are interested in that, drop me an email, or you can check out details on my website as well, AstroViktor.com. But without any further ado, let's talk about the 10th house and its meanings. So in the 9th house, you learn and broaden your horizon, and now it's time to implement those in your career. We got to another angular house, and angular houses are the compass and the backbone of the chart. So specifically the midheaven, because usually the 10th house includes the midheaven. However, I would like to mention that I use whole sign house system where the midheaven can be fluctuating. So we actually call it as a floating degree. And the midheaven can be somewhere between the 7th to the 12th house. Yesterday, for instance, I had a client and she had her midheaven in the 12th house, which is quite rare. And that's one of the reasons why I like using whole sign house system, because the midheaven placement is giving us a little bit of a more information of what the person should be doing. Now, the 10th house is a earth house. So the 10th house covers anything to do with your aims and goals, how you can gain reputation, or what do I want to be successful at? How I can or want to wow the world, how I can gain recognition. Basically, this is your CV. But there is a little bit of a there's a little bit like a spiritual meaning to the 10th house as well. And I call it as the God's plan. Sorry, I almost said dog's plan because my doggies are playing next to me. And yeah, sorry, so God's plan. So what does God want from us to achieve in this incarnation? So, the midheaven or the 10th house is always opposite to the 4th. That's what we call as the IC and the MC angle. And I would call it as, it is like a tree. So we can, we start within our family environment and then we grow up. And sometimes we outgrow those as well. And then this is basically the hierarchy axis. But also the hierarchy axis means how high we can climb that ladder. Also, this is the axis of parental influence, because IC usually talks about your dad, and midheaven usually talks about your mom. IC is something to do with your surname, the foundation of yourself, and the midheaven is something to do with your Christian name. Now, while the AC and the DC axis talks about the mirror, the personal versus your group experiences. So, by the way, the 4 angles are created by the movement of the sun. So, IC represents the midnight as a daytime, which is dark, invisible, quiet. And basically, that's the crossover between 2 days. So that's why it's something to do with your emotional security. The ascendant is the sunrise. That's where your body steps into this incarnation. So it talks about birth and emerge. The midheaven, and the one we talk about today, is actually the midday, which is the highest point of the chart. So it shows how we can shine, how we can be the strongest. It's like a culmination point. And last but not least, the descendant, which is representing the sunset. And that's where the sun loses its strength. There is a changeover, a disappearance, but also merging and fading. Keywords also to the descendant. I think it kind of makes sense because at the end of the day, you know, you lose some type of strength when you get into a relationship because you're going to have to make compromises. So the midheaven or the 10th house is kind of a behavior you need to embrace, the act you need to play, an image you need to display in order for you to be successful. So the questions the 10th house always carries within itself is, what do you stand for? Do you really want to become successful? What would give you a sense of success? How does the public take your lifestyle? Where are you heading in your life? It's very much about your parental themes, what we inherit from our parents, but also going back to the success, how we define success. So, 10th house also indicates our relationship to authority figures. It is our public image. Usually, I give you an example. I was speaking to Tweti today about this, and she's got, for instance, a Virgo midheaven. And she said that people usually see her a very Virgo-like person, and that's exactly the reason why, because people see us according to our midheaven sign. Yes, and kind of I would say that the midheaven is also what we want to be written on our tombstone. So if you have got, for instance, a fire sign on your midheaven, then that person wants challenge, competition, excitement, risk, speed. They are self-promoters. They are after glory and triumph. They want to win and they want to be recognized. If you have got earth signs there, then you need to be embracing something to do with stability, security, money. The most important is self-worth. If you have got earth on the 10th house cusp, it's very much about tangible results. So you need to create something which you can hold in your hand. It's all about building that reputation up for yourself. But earth element could be talking about your body and creating structure in life as well. If you have got air on the cusp, then it talks about knowledge, theory, ideas, humanitarian causes. In many cases, those people travel quite a lot as well, but at least they use communication and interaction quite a lot in their everyday job. But they do need variety and they like analyzing things as well. Um, and then if you've got water element on the 10th house cusp, you are suited for activities which requires emotion, to be able to work with people and making bonds with people. So any type of jobs like therapies, carers, counselors, healing departments, those are very, very suitable for water elements. Also, you're going to have to look at the modality of the 10th house cusp. So we've got three modalities. Let's start with the cardinal ones. The cardinals are Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. Cardinal is famous for leadership roles. They want to be seen. They are initiators, go-getters, and they like taking on challenges. So you're just gonna have to put it together with the elemental breakdown, which I gave you not long ago. When it comes to fixed energies, they are all about principles. They like holding on to things. They can be sometimes stubborn, but they are craving for power as well. So usually the fixed energies are something to do with, or they are, they want to be in leadership position. And when you've got mutable on the cusp, they enjoy freedom, knowledge. They actually have got a variety of interests going on. So they tend to be taking multiple paths on, and they can easily change their lifestyle as well. So when you have got mutable energy on the cusp, it's all about connecting with people as well, but more like a salesman does, not like, for instance, the water element, who is more about putting the emotions into the picture as well. So the 10th house is where you receive your coveted lifetime achievement award, basically. So what's the idea of success? Please comment in your comment yours in the box below. As I said, it rules one of your parents as well, and that's going to be your mother. Now, when it comes to the term meaning of the 10th house, basically the 10th is 6 sign away from the 5th. So it's going to be talking about your children's sickness. That's going to be the 4th sign from the 7th. So it does talk about the partner's family life and their parental influences on your spouse. But also, this is the 8th sign away from your 3rd house. So unfortunately, it does talk about the death of the sibling, of your sibling as well. Now, when it comes to medical astrology, now it does talk about, for instance, in Harare, that's going to be something to do with vaccination and medicines, any type of treatment. Apart from spiritual treatments, because in Harare, spiritual treatments belong to the 9th house. So this is more about the medical treatments. 10th house is very much associated in medical astrology with melancholy and depression, especially typical when people can't achieve things they want to achieve. 10th house rules over your skin, skeleton, knees, joints, ligaments, teeth, and hair, as well as gallbladder. I would like to mention that gallbladder, by the way, is a very Saturnian and Marsian type of energy because it's all about holding on to grudges. Now, the grudges are very much Marsian energy, and we tend to be holding on to things with Saturn. And on a psychological note, this house rules over depression. Now, in mundane astrology, this house corresponds to the president or prime minister of the country, or chief executive officers, the government overall, and the person representing the government as its head. This house rules anything to do with leadership, and it reflects upon the nation's status among other nations. So how much honor and recognition the country gets, what's the nation's influence in the world, and how can the nation kind of formulate the opinion of the world. It rules the party in power, but even it talks about your bosses at workplace. So as in bigger organizations. The 10th house also talks about famous or eminent people in the country. And also I would say it's going to be something to do with what type of treatment they usually give to the nation. So anything to do with electional matters also belong to the 10th house. It's very interesting to see, for instance, that in the US, the inauguration day always falls on the day when the sun enters the 10th house. So if you haven't noticed that, then just, a little bit of extra to know. So that would be our 10th house. And next week, you will see me coming up with the 11th house, meaning we only have 2 houses left to discuss. And after, I'm going to be making a little bit of a relationship series for you. So thank you for your attention. If you like the video, please press like, ring the notification bell, and most importantly, share it with others who want to learn about astrology and they want to be as special as me and you are. Have a blessed day, everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye.